I've got lots to share with you today about how and why a gratitude practice supports your process and path of manifestation. So we're going to be talking about that today. I've also been inviting you to join me in a gratitude practice, 29 days of gratitude for this moon cycle, working with this Taurus energy. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that and how that's going and how to participate. I'm going to be giving away a free gift for my anniversary, which is June 5th, doing 1 year of daily YouTube videos. So if you aren't watching me every day, know that I do share every day something that is going on in the cosmos with the moon cycle, how it affects our mood, our experience in our daily lives, and also in the collective, and most importantly, how to work with those energies for optimal self-care and supporting yourself and your soul's truth, which is why you're here. So just some little things, little things that we talk about here. No, really, they're big things, right? So we're here to talk about big things and figure out how to break it down into bite-sized chunks that can make sense so we can wrap our minds around it and work with it, in a tangible daily practice and process. So thanks so much for being here with me. I'm Marina Orms, and you can learn more about me at astrologyheals.com, how to work with me, more about my books, etc. So what we are focusing on here today is how gratitude supports manifestation. And the reason we're talking about that today is because on Friday, we had a new moon in Taurus, and that kicked off the Taurus moon cycle, which happens every year. We have the sun and moon come together in Taurus once a year. So that in itself is not a big deal. But the fact that this particular new moon in Taurus, and they all have their own unique qualities and flavors and characters, but this one has Jupiter just went into Taurus. It has also the planet Uranus in Taurus, which is a long-term placement. It's there for several years. But also Mercury in Taurus. And Mercury has recently been retrograde in Taurus, taking us back over old territory that connects us with the Taurus nature, which is methodical, it is reliable, it is sustainable, it deals with things that are predictable, stable, understandable, and makes sense. So not all of the zodiac is like that, right? Taurus, in fact, is opposite Scorpio. And so with our recent Scorpio full moon lunar eclipse, the sun was in Taurus, the moon was in Scorpio, and Scorpio as an opposite sign is very much about the complex and the mysterious and the difficult to understand and the way that energy moves and flows without necessarily having a routine or a predictableness to it. Scorpio brings in, it's not necessarily that it doesn't have any sense to it, it's just that the sense it makes is felt at a much, much deeper level. Okay, so that's just a point that different zodiac signs bring these different feelings. And Taurus, which is the moon cycle we are in, because we began with the new moon in Taurus, this whole moon cycle is about Taurus themes. So we are evolving, we are developing, we are bringing to fruition things that have to do with Taurus energy. So because Taurus deals with the routine, the understandable, the realm of things that make sense and are concrete and solid and physical and things that we can understand and talk about. Because it deals with those things, when we are talking about manifestation, we're talking about results. We are talking about something tangible, something of value. That is what Taurus relates to. So while every moon cycle brings an opportunity for manifestation. This one in particular has to do with manifesting things that are tangible, that have value, that is physical, and something that we can use, right? It's useful. It's something that can show up in our lives in terms of something valuable, something beautiful, a resource. And with Jupiter in Taurus, we additionally have this energy of expansion, abundance, right? So if you are trying to manifest money, this is the moon cycle to focus on that. And I'm not a big one on like money is a solution to all of our problems. I know sometimes it feels that way, and it is, of course, related to other things. But money is really one physical piece of the bigger picture of what we want, right? Which is really these more intangible things like freedom, the freedom to make choices, to do the things we want to do, the ability to feel joy and experience joy and pleasure in our lives. It's things that are intangible like love, connection, friendship, a feeling of belonging, the ability to create and do our creative work, right? All of those are intangible things that do not depend on money, right? Sometimes money is tied in with it, and it can be a component of it, etc. But the intangible things that we want in our lives are just as important. So anyway, that being said, this particular moon cycle is a really good one for supporting us in bringing things into something material, right? Material values, including money, including resources, including a feeling of abundance, of support, of knowing that we are taken care of. Now, with our bodies, that means nourishment, healthy living, healthy lifestyles, healthy bodies. The freedom to move and be free of pain, the ability to have the things we want that good health brings us, right? You can have all the money in the world, and if you don't have good health, right? So good health is really, really important. And if you are experiencing good health, that is something truly to be grateful for. And for the ways that you have good health, and for the ways that good health shows up in your life, and that you have that freedom with your body and ability to do things with your body, whatever that is, right, is something to be grateful for. Okay, so material, also in terms of health, also in terms of resources and things that bring sustainability into our lives. So ways that we are supported, that can be maintained, that can be solid, that can be depended upon. This is also good to focus on as we are thinking about manifestation with this particular moon cycle. So if you are new to my my work, my content, my videos, you may not realize, but this is something I have been doing ongoing for years and years and years. And that is talking about how moon cycles bring an opportunity for manifestation. When we plant the seeds at the new moon is the beginning of the cycle. So it's the time to set our intentions. It's the time to claim what we want, to say, I deserve this. This is for me. This is what I am stepping into and owning my right to have. And so when we set those intentions, we put the ball in motion. We set things going that can flow from there, right? From a beginning place of a statement of intention. And then as we move through the first half of the moon cycle, where the moon is growing bigger each night, we call that waxing, a waxing moon, because, in the olden days, you used to drip wax on to make a wax seal, or, create something that wax, making something wax with wax. So you're adding wax, you're waxing, you're adding the wax. It's getting bigger as you drip those waxy drips to, onto the paper or whatever. So, so waxing means getting bigger. As the moon is waxing, it is building in possibility, or going from the place of possibility to the place of fruition. So, so as the moon is getting bigger each day, each night, throughout those first 2 weeks of the moon cycle, that is the time to put things in motion, to take action, to try things out, to put new thinking into action, and to explore, to discover, to to discover through action, movement, claiming, proactive types of things. So as we move toward that full moon, we're building, we're creating, we're putting our energy into something that we want to see come to fruition, putting in your effort, your good intentions, all of that. And then as we get to the full moon, something is revealed. So in my book, I describe this process as, and my book, by the way, is Cycles of Healing, describes how astrological cycles unfold for us in a healing or manifestation process. So cycles of healing. So I describe it as if you were putting on a theater production. So here's an example, right? You're putting on a theater production. You want this thing, you're planning it. You can imagine it, right? Like the ultimate production. So you're being the busy little squirrels and whatever animals are the ones who are really busy and making things happen, right? You're doing all the behind the scenes thing. You're casting, you're building costumes, sets, you are practicing your lines, you're doing rehearsals. All that is working up to the production opening night. So the first half, or the waxing half of the moon cycle, is when you're putting everything into action. You're doing, you're creating, it's an exciting time. And then at the full moon, that's the equivalent in this example of drawing the curtain. The show is on, right? You can't stop it. It is what it is, right? It is there to become whatever it is possible for it to become in that moment. So that at that moment of the full moon, something is being revealed. You are discovering what you have been creating and what it actually looks like. And you get, that illumination of the full moon allows you to see what is being reflected back to you. And then as we go through the second half of the moon cycle, which is the waning half, we're processing what happened. Wow, we're like coming down from the high of performance night, right? And we're implementing, we're integrating, we're processing, digesting, understanding, and as we move toward the next new moon, we're integrating that new information and new discoveries as we head toward a new cycle to begin the new manifestation process. Okay, so that in a really quick nutshell is my way of working with moon cycles and all planetary cycles, but moon cycles are the most obvious and tangible in our lives to work with consciously. So a moon cycle is a manifestation cycle. Every moon cycle is. And this one, as I said, is beginning with Taurus. So it has that Taurus energy to it. It has the material. It has the tangible. It has the feeling of results. And that is what we are learning about as we do our manifestation process this moon cycle. So, so with that Taurus energy, we're thinking about how to make things stable, how to maintain new discoveries into, things that we've been learning, processing. With the past moon cycle, we had 2 moon cycles in a row that were in Aries, began with an Aries new moon. So we had the energy of action and proactive movement and finding our courage and discovering what we're capable of when we don't hold back. So taking some risks. And now with the Taurus moon cycle, we are in the process of of seeing, okay, what do we learn from some risk taking? What happened when we took some actions? What did we figure out? How do we now want to implement that and put it into something tangible that is more sustainable, more routine, more predictable? And that is, we're grounding it. We're grounding it into our lives. We're making it real. So this is what we want to think about too as we go through this manifestation of the Taurus moon cycle for this month that began with Friday's new moon. And then I had invited you to join me in a daily gratitude practice. So what that does is the practice of gratitude is opening pathways that teach your body, your mind, your heart, your emotions, your soul, your spirit, teaches all of those parts of you how to receive the abundance that you really want. So instead of what we, very typically go around our lives with, which is stress, worry, feeling like we have to be on time, feeling like we have to show up for work, we have to perform when we don't always feel like it. As human beings, our moods are up and down, and for some of us more than for others if you have a lot of water in your chart. But we're, we don't always fit into the box that the world wants us to fit into. And so we go around with kind of some ways of showing up that might be not super authentic, right? They might have to do with being in places of stress or worry or fear or anxiety. Any of those things could be showing up in our daily lives. And what is gratitude? It is the opposite of that. So what it is doing is, when we go into our lives from a place of worry and stress, which there's nothing wrong with it, it's very human, it's very normal, we all do it. But what that's creating for ourselves is a comfort zone where we're worried and stressed. It's like, okay, I know how things work here. I can do this, right? I can do what I have to do. And, there's a lot to that. And that's why we look at astrology charts, because it can help you understand some of your old patterns and wiring that you have that, it describes your very own comfort zone and what's going to help you shift out of that to manifest in your life. So that's why we do individual chart readings and look at your own natal chart, because it gives you insight into that. But even without that, we know that as human beings, we have our comfort zone. We have those places where, at least when I'm worrying, I know how things work. I know what I'm dealing with, right? And I can manage that. And so if your worries go onto your to-do list, or your worries go into your meeting agenda, or how you talk to your friend or your coworker, all of that can be just sort of how we operate. But what gratitude does is it brings us into a state of receiving that says, yeah, everything is fine. I'm so grateful. I have this wonderful thing in my life. I have this amazing, person that I love, or this experience of my garden, flowers blooming. What are you grateful for, right? Your health, right? And that's why we're doing 29 days of gratitude, is because there are so many different things we can be grateful for. It can be a little thing, something little that you appreciate that just makes you happy, right? A color, a texture, a smell, something that makes you feel good, that makes you happy, that makes you smile. That's what you're grateful for. And so what you're saying when you're doing this daily gratitude practice is you're saying, I appreciate the world. The world is a good place. There are good things in the world. And I am noticing and receiving and taking a moment to be in wonder at those good things. And when you do that, you're laying the groundwork that says to your body and soul and spirit, your emotions, your thinking, all of it, it says to those parts of you that there is more of that out there for you, and that the things that are causing you worry can slowly and gradually shift over time to make way for more of that feeling of beauty and joy and wonder and pleasure and wanting to smile and feeling grateful. So it is your happiness, your gratitude, your appreciation for the good things in the world that creates more of that. And that is kind of an intangible thing, right? I can say you're manifesting these great results, but how do you know, right, whether you are or not? Well, we know that at very least, we know that you can shift your feelings. And when you shift your feelings, you have more of an experience of abundance, right? Because what is abundance? It's a feeling. It's a feeling. Like maybe you can have more money. That would be great, right? Or maybe not, but maybe you feel more abundant because of something else. Like that's the whole point. And so, it's that old thing of like, when you die, you won't care whether you had a pile of money. When you die, you will care whether you were happy, felt good, did the things you want to do, had joy in your life, took moments, took time to appreciate the pleasures and the good things that life has to offer, right? So that's what we really want. And that is why gratitude helps us to create more of that. And by the way, there is science on all of this. You can check out HeartMath.org. HeartMath is an institute that has done a lot of research on the power of positive emotions and the ways that it impacts our health, our mental state, so many positive impacts that it has on us. And these are, in my mind, much more important than whether you have money or not. Money is great. And you might be, finding that a lot of people are talking about manifesting money during this moon cycle. I don't know, maybe there are other people out there who are really focusing on that because Taurus is about physical things and resources and material abundance. But I want to get to why do we want that? And can we really bring into our lives yes, let's bring in the money. Let's also bring in our ability to enjoy what that money brings us and our ability to receive and to feel grateful for the amazing gifts that the world has to offer and how those show up in our lives and for us and with our daily things that we do. So in our daily routines, in the things that we want to create, in our work, and being able to share our authentic gifts. Because if you're watching this, you have something wonderful to share. And whether that is with your family, with your community, with a bigger audience, with the wider world, what's important is that you are showing up in your own highest potential, right? Doing what you are good at, because when you do that, you make the world a better place. So what is that for you? What is that sharing for you? Is it being an amazing mother? Is it being an amazing grandmother or grandparent? Is it is it the work that you do? Is it being creative? Is it helping people? Is it being of service? How are you being of service? How are you bringing more kindness into the world? How are you sharing compassion, love, encouragement of others? And that's the kind of world that we all want to live in. We all want to feel safe. We all want to be loved. We all want to be supported and cared for, and have the ability to move freely in the world. So that's why we do all of these things. That is how I approach astrology and the ways that astrology can support us, can help us connect with and accelerate our ability to not only experience these things for ourselves, but to ripple them out into the world in our various different ways that we do that. Okay, so I feel like I'm on some sort of soapbox. Anyway, so what we're doing for this month, my invitation to you, and as a celebration of my 1-year anniversary of doing daily YouTube videos, and supporting you in all 12 moon cycles that we've been through in the past year. And by the way, I'm intending to keep doing this. So follow me this coming year. We'll work on manifestation and what it looks like with each of the zodiac signs as the new moon. Each moon cycle, the new moon is in a different zodiac sign because the sun progresses through the signs. So each moon cycle has its own qualities. We'll discover together how that shows up and how to work with it and make the most of it. So I'm intending, that's one of my intentions, is to continue doing this daily for you, and working together on this, making the most of the planets in our unshakable self-care. And then, so the invitation for this anniversary and celebration is to join me in doing a daily gratitude practice. And so the invitation is to start or continue a gratitude journal for yourself. There are some different fun ways you might do it. It can be, one day, each day on a line in your journal. It could be something you do, or quickly type on your computer or speak into some voice recorder. Just have some way of capturing your thing that you're grateful for each day, and keep it simple, right? It's just, the idea is just a different thing each day. One suggestion I had yesterday was put it on some cards, like index cards, or you could have fun with it and make crafts. We all have our own things that we're into. But that would make like your own little angel cards that you could pull and remind yourself of what you're grateful for. So to tie this all together, the reason we're doing this during the Taurus moon cycle is because gratitude helps us reset. It helps us align with that capacity to receive the good things that we want. And so I would encourage you to think about the material things you want, a new house, a relationship. It's not necessarily material, but you know what I mean. A new job, something that you want, a new car. I mean, that's getting more on the material end, right? But whatever it is you want, I want you to also think about why you want that. What does it bring to your life? How does it spark joy for you? How does it Michelle, yeah, anyway, how does it inspire you? How does it bring pleasure into your life? How does it bring joy? How does it help you be more creative? How does it help you be more sharing of your gifts, more loving, more kind, more healthy in body, mind, emotion, spirit, soul, all of it? So what does your body need, your soul need, your self need, and how can you open to that through your practice of gratitude? And so as you state your intentions of, this is what I want. And by the way, if you missed Friday's video about the Taurus new moon, I would say go back and review that one, because that's where we talked about setting intentions and how to work with that new moon energy. If you missed it, that's fine. It's not too late. You can still set your intentions. I love retroactively setting intentions. So if you missed the new moon, don't worry about it. Set your intentions now, and just set your intention to align your intentions with the past new moon. So that retroactively covers you and plants your seeds there. And And then as we go through the moon cycle, you have that intention written down. It's a 1 to 2 sentence statement of what you want, why you want it, and how you feel when you have it, because that's really the most important thing, right? So, okay, so you're setting your intention and you're doing the gratitude practice, and the gratitude practice is helping to open you to your ability to receive, which is supporting you in that manifestation. Now, one thing to remember as we do a manifestation practice, are we going to get the thing that we intended or are trying to manifest, the exact thing every time? No, that's not how it works. A manifestation practice means, I mean, you might get it, that would be great, right? But that's not what's important. What's important is your own soul's evolution. It's true. Okay, so when you are focusing on your soul's evolution, then your manifestation practice and process is supporting your soul's healing, your soul's evolution, and stepping into more fully your true self, your highest potential, and the amazing things that we want from life, right? Not the things, but what we want to be, who we are becoming. So as we focus on what we want to manifest, we are inviting in the discovery for ourselves of what we need to learn about ourselves. So what is it we need to learn? How do we need to change? How can we make those changes? Sometimes we know we need to change, but we don't have a clue how to do it. So that is what a manifestation process brings in, is it brings in awareness, insight, inspiration, new possibilities, synchronistic alignments. Maybe you're setting an intention and what comes in is a phone call from out of the blue from someone who says, I'm doing this thing. Do you want to come do it with me? And you're like, I don't know why, but that feels right. And you go do it. And you're like, wow, I learned all these things. And lo and behold, it had to do with the thing I'm trying to manifest. And it was teaching me how to be who I need to be to manifest that thing. So in other words, sometimes what you want manifests. Sometimes it manifests by the full moon. That's definitely a possibility. You set the intention, you get clear about what you want, you take the actions, align your thinking, show up in the ways you need to show up, and boom, it appears. Sometimes it works that way. Sometimes it works as you do all those things, and then what is reflected back to you at the full moon is some way of understanding, some kind of insight, some kind of awareness, some next step that is helping you put the pieces in place that you need to have in place in order to manifest that thing, which you will realize if you do this enough years, as I have, that it really never was about the thing you wanted to manifest. What it was about is who you're becoming, what you're discovering about yourself, and how your soul is evolving, and learning more about what it means to be alive, to be human, to be spirit, all those things. Okay, so lots to think about. So my free gift for you, those of you who are participating, and I would ask you to join me in this gratitude daily 29 days of gratitude for the Taurus moon cycle. So we're starting with May 18th. And if you miss 2, you can just do, if you miss the first, however many, just do a bunch at once. I'm sure you can think of something that you're grateful for, and make up your list up until now, and then do one a day from now until the next new moon, which I don't have in front of me, but it's 29 days out from the 18th. Okay. Anyway, and my free gift is going to be a guided meditation for you that will support your manifestation process. So that's going to be coming. It's going to come up. I'll probably give it out around the full moon. Stick with me. Do this gratitude practice for yourself. You will be amazed to see, what shows up for yourself, what you learn, and what unfolds from there. And I will offer my free gift as a celebration, and gratitude for you for being here with me and doing this process with me. So thanks for being here. Thanks for listening for this, little bit of a longer explanation of what we're doing and why. I hope it's been helpful for you. And again, my only request is that if it feels right to you, please share this video or my YouTube channel or another video. If another video of mine particularly spoke to you, share it with a friend, share it with a bunch of friends, whatever makes sense to you. Help me get the word out there. And I am so appreciative and grateful for you doing that. And certainly, if you have not subscribed yet, that helps me a ton. So you're subscribing to this YouTube channel, just hit that subscribe button, and that supports my work, and I'm eternally grateful. Thanks for your comments. Let me know what you are grateful for and how this is going for you. And thanks again so much for being here. I am Marina Orms at astrologyheals.com. You can learn more about my book and me and how to work with me and all that good stuff. And thanks again for being here. I'll see you tomorrow and we'll keep going. All right. Bye for now.